Okay, going to start out here with our cold open question. Derek, I asked you about this last week. We kind of got a new format going on with this. So, going to be a little teaser for what the episode is. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, stick with us. Would you rather be gifted a Mogwai on Christmas? Now, you have to assume all the responsibilities that come with owning a Mogwai until the creature dies. If it's not taken care of or someone gets hurt, something gets damaged, you have to assume all legal and financial responsibility for it. So you can either be gifted a Mogwai, deal with all that, or you're forced to skip over Christmas Eve and Christmas Day every year for the rest of your life. Now, you can't change what day that you and your family celebrate Christmas, so like it's always going to be that day. The day will go on like normal for everybody else, but you won't experience it.
Just blip out.
So, just blip out.
Yep. All right. Well, I mean, I got to go with the Mogwai. I've been raising two of them for the better part of 16 years. So it's basically the same thing. I'm financially responsible for everything they do, and that's worked out okay for me. I think I'm going to go with the Mogwai. Now, whenever you say take care of the Mogwai, do you mean like take care of the Mogwai or like take care of the Mogwai?
Oh, no. You've got, You've got to let this thing live and grow.
Do they grow?
Well, you know what I mean. You got to let it live until it naturally dies.
All right. I don't think they naturally die. I think they live for like hundreds of years. It's going to outlive you. It's like a parrot. You don't want to get a parrot when you're 50 because it's going to outlive you.
You just pass it on to the kids, and whatever happens then after you die, it's fine.
Hey, remember that time you trashed my house? Here's a gremlin. Or a Mogwai.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd have to go with that as well.
Who wants to miss Christmas?
I know.
I guess if you were Jewish, that'd be a no-brainer.
Oh, sure. But yeah, I was just thinking, like, when I came up with this question, like, there's no upside to this really at all, except I guess you have a cute, or I hope you have a cute gremlin. I don't know. Mogwai or whatever. But, yeah, I'd have to go with that too. So, I don't know. I'm sure most other people are going to feel the same way, but however you feel, let us know in the comments. We would love to read what you think.
I mean, maybe you don't celebrate Christmas, and this is an easy one for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll just skip over Christmas. Sure. Do you have to work every Christmas? Let's skip over it.
I was going to ask, like, am I blipping out and, like, I don't exist? Or, like, if I'm at work, do I still get paid? Because I'll just schedule to work that day and just honk out, not even have to be there.
Life goes on like normal. Yeah.
Sign me up for a 24-hour shift.
Yep, that's right.
I'll take the overtime.
48 hours.
Holiday and overtime? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right.
Well, we will catch you on the other side here, and we will start the discussion. We'll see you there.
Roll that intro. Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters because this podcast takes tokens.
All right, hello and welcome back. Of course, if you didn't gather from the question, I don't know how you didn't because we said it several times by accident, I think.
We're doing Home Alone.
Home Alone. There we go. Now, we're going to be talking about one of my favorites, if not my favorite. It's in a tie. Christmas movie, Gremlins. Released June 8th, 1984. So it's not really a released Christmas movie. I had no idea this was released in the summer.
Right?
Yeah,
This doesn't feel like a summer movie. It's
no,
snowing.
it's a
like,
Christmas
it's
movie.
time.
Like it happens on most of it's on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So,
Although the home video cycle of the time, maybe it's just like they expected it to be on home video by Christmas time.
oh sure, perhaps.
So you hit the market twice.
Yep. So starring Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, of course our favorite Corey Feldman, young Corey Feldman in this one, Dick Miller, Hoyt Axton, Francis Lee McCain, Jonathan Banks. I forgot was in this. I didn't even really realize it. I guess I never noticed it until I looked this up. And I was plays Mike from Breaking Bad. He is Deputy Brent in this movie. Yeah, I never caught it until I was looking at, who was in this movie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he was in this. And then, of course, now when I watched it again today, I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah.
What was the movie we watched forever ago that he was in? Oh. That we were talking about him from.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I can't remember right now. Yeah, it'll come to us.
Yeah.
But, and then, of course, Howie Mandel doing the voice of Gizmo.
I don't know. I didn't really consider him having a voice, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And then, at the time, I guess, Howie Mandel was just kind of a up-and-coming stand-up comic.
Comedian. Yeah.
And really what we know him as today.
Yeah. It's so weird. Like, you see that, and you're like, okay, Howie Mandel did the voice. But yeah, like you were saying, of course, Gizmo has a voice.
Yeah.
But I'm like, did they, alter that? Or is that really Howie Mandel just, pitching his voice up? And
yeah, but he only plays Gizmo. He doesn't play any of the other ones. I noticed in the credits, everybody else had different credits. So he's only playing Gizmo.
Yep.
Yeah, which is interesting.
So, what'd you think? I'm sure you've seen this movie a 1,000 times before.
Yeah, it was great. I watched it through different eyes this time. I guess a little more critically, if you will. Not that really took anything away from it, but here's another one of those movies where, we're talking about it, and we're going to do this episode about it, so I go to sit down and watch it for this podcast, takes tokens, and I start with notes. We're watching the movie, and I get about a half hour into it, and I completely forget to start taking notes again, and here we are, and I've got very few notes, but I do have a few notes, like the town square. That's the town square from Back to the Future and
it's
Jaws.
And lot.
Yeah, that's great. Like, they used it again. I love seeing that. That was great.
I that's one of my favorite things about watching these older movies, because I don't think they really use it very much anymore. Of course, I think part of it burnt down and all this, but I love watching these movies, and to me, I get a real joy out of, I see the square and I'm like, that's the Universal lot. I don't know. I love it. And
it's
I
so
love
recognizable.
To see, it is. And even though they changed the storefronts around, you can still tell. And I love that about it. When I say it brings me joy, it really is a simple pleasure that it really does bring me joy, just to look at the different things and be like, oh yeah, okay, well, they still kept the movie theater the same as they've done in every Universal lot movie. It's
added
right there on the
King.
corner. They got the Burger King. The diner from Back to the Future is actually the bank. In this movie.
Because it's on that corner. Yeah.
But
so,
it's so fun.
With the Burger King there, did they have a Burger King tie-in with this movie, like toys or anything like that?
Had to.
I don't remember it, but
yeah.
I had Burger King, but I remember Burger King having Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys, and really wanting to go for all that.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really remember eating a lot of Burger King. Back in the day, we were kind of a McDonald's family. It was the one for us for sure.
Yeah. Well, we didn't growing up here in rural Missouri, we didn't really have a Burger King until the last 3 years.
I think we had one in Brookfield, wasn't there?
Oh, was there one over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought there was.
There was.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember it.
That was, my memory's foggy on all that. It could have been Burger King, or it could have been Brookfield, it could have been Milan. No, it definitely wasn't Milan. But, somewhere out there, and I just conflated them. But, I seem to remember there being one.
Yeah.
But maybe it's Hardee's. Maybe I'm thinking of a Hardee's.
Oh, yeah, there was a Hardee's here in town.
Yeah.
That's gone now. I don't see a lot of Hardee's.
No, they
anymore.
got bought up by Carl's Jr. Now they're all Carl's Jr.'s. Or they got bought up, or did Hardee's buy? I don't know. It's all part of the same company now. So they're all Carl's Jr.'s now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Universal lot. Yeah. Absolutely was. Absolutely was the Universal lot.
Yeah. And it's like you said, like all these movies back in this, and there's like a time period in like the mid-late 90s or 80s, mid to late 80s, where you see this lot being used in so many films. So, I mean, they got their money's worth for sure.
Oh, they absolutely did. Yeah.
I can't think of too many nowadays where you see it, but
I don't either. I'd have to look up. I've looked it up before where it's been used at, but it's a decent sized list, and I just
well, IMDb has a you can click on that location and
you can
see
really
what was filmed there. Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, for reference, most recently they've got Rutherford Falls. I don't know what it is.
Never heard of that.
Impractical Jokers. Okay, I've heard of it. I've never watched it, but apparently
it's funny.
there.
I like Impractical Jokers. Yeah.
Colony, again, another one where I'm like, I've never heard of this one. Back. This is a weird. I'm saying this right. Back to the 2015 future.
Probably a documentary.
It must be. Well, no, it says Marty McFly meets his son Devin McFly to help fix the time. This is a fan film. That's what this is. Made in 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that was made in 2015, and that's the, I don't know, like fifth or sixth thing down. Sixth thing down. So that's how little it gets used nowadays. I mean, if I scroll down, the most recent thing that's big enough, at least in my opinion, to note and to mention is number 8 in 2013, Saving Mr. Banks, the Disney thing that they did a while back with what's his name, Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, a
little fun fact for you.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I didn't know you could look that up. I'd love to go and tour that sometime.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Visit it, and it'd be fun. It'd be fun to do. But
yeah. So, did you see the budget on this one?
No, I didn't look at the budget. I forgot about it. What was it? Did you look it up?
Let's do the numbers.
Okay.
We're gonna roll the numbers.
Roll the numbers.
We need like a cash register sign,
like a little ticker up here Ching! Somewhere. That's yeah.
So their budget is $11 million. It's pretty standard for the time, it seems like, from what we're seeing. Any guesses on? And this is another one. It looks like it only got a U.S. and Canada release, no worldwide release. Any guesses on the gross?
This is just box office. This is not like box home office, video sales and stuff like that. I'm going to say $30 million.
Total or opening weekend?
Total.
Total? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to give you opening weekend.
Okay.
$12.5 million. Okay. Made their budget back.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Total gross, $153.6 million.
What? Oh my gosh.
How are there not like 7 of these movies already?
Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
Yeah. That's crazy. Mean, they had 2, but it took them like 7 years to come out with a sequel for it, I think, or 6 years. It came out in 90 or 92. Came out in
1990. So this is 84, 1990. That's 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, that definitely took some time to get to the sequel. And then if we look at the sequel, the box office, the budget was $50 million for the sequel. It grossed $41 million.
That's why. That's why we didn't see more. That's why we didn't see more. Yeah. I want to come back. I want to do an episode for Gremlins
absolutely. 2. Gremlins 2 was great. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I enjoy Gremlins 2 quite a bit. But this one I feel like is the stronger movie.
Yeah.
But
Gremlins 2, Gremlins 2 feels like what would have eventually been a Gremlins 4. Like it feels like they jumped straight to that almost direct to video sequel.
Over the top
a little much. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like they just swung for the fences on that one. But it was still fun. I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to Gremlins.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah. What was your favorite scene watching this, or like has it changed?
Yeah,
Mine's I've always had one that's just it stayed the same the whole.
Oh, what is
since
it?
I've seen it. Oh, so it's Billy gets off the phone with his mother, or his mother gets off the phone with Billy. She's up in the attic after the cocoons have hatched, and all this, Billy's like, you got to get out of the house or whatever, and she's up there, and then you hear the record player turn on that. Do you see what I see? Yeah. And it's that whole scene of her like
stalking
and defending herself, like. She has an awesome kill count.
Oh yeah, don't mess with Billy's mom. Like
no.
She took on what? She killed 3 or 4 of them by herself.
Barehanded. She took on 3 of them. Yep. Killed 3
individually.
She's fighting that 4th one, and Billy comes in and cuts its head off because it's like in the tree or whatever.
And really, Billy's got 2. He's got that, and he's got Stripe. And really, Gizmo got Stripe.
Yeah, but Billy's got he lights the movie theater on fire and blows that up. So
yeah, but he also he let Stripe get in the pool at the YMCA.
Yeah.
So.
Whoa, yeah. No, Billy's mom is like, she's using
she's the hero of this movie.
TV tray to as a shield, and then throws that one in the microwave and blows it up.
There's a whole prequel where Billy's mom is just is training, and she takes karate with Mr. Miyagi or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Billy's mom is badass.
Oh, she is. And that is my favorite scene. And it's the way they use the music, and just how, like you're saying, how that ramps up and turns on, and how she's just stalking through the house, and I don't know, the whole thing up through when Billy comes in and saves her from the one in the Christmas tree. That's my favorite scene. Always is every time I watch it. But what's yours?
So I think growing up, I always got a kick out of the bar scene with all the gremlins. And you see such a variety of different activities and them doing different things. And always I think my favorite part was always where the one gremlin he brings out the little hand sock puppet, and he's like,
oh yeah,
that just killed me. I don't know what it is. It was just
to that one
so goofy. Yeah,
it's like a noir thing.
And he's like trying to be all serious with the cigarette and everything, and then he goes and he's like, yeah. Just I love that. That was so funny. But I think watching it now, it's either. And these go in opposite directions. It's either the movie theater scene where they're all singing "Hi Ho" from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and they're loving watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs for some reason. Juxtaposed
Snow White,
to Billy and what's her name trying to get in and take care of him. Kate, and take him out. It's either that or earlier. The scene where Gizmo's in bed and he's watching TV and he's watching the race car driver and he's sitting there and he's just and he's racing. That was great foreshadowing and training, if you will, for what's to come. And just great, just Gizmo being adorable and everything Gizmo is.
Absolutely is. Yeah.
So that's I think. It's one of those two, and I can't decide because they're opposites, and it's hard to make that call.
Really, there's just a lot of good scenes in this. The other one that I don't consider it a scene necessarily. It's just a brief clip, but it gets me every time. I laugh so hard, and Harper, my daughter, she does too. She'll be. She's been sick, so I stayed home with her today, and we watched movies and stuff, and so we were laying in bed and we watched this, and it's that scene where they are at what is her name, the lady, the old lady that's I've got it written down here somewhere, Mrs. Deagle's house.
Yes.
And she's like, oh, carolers. I hate carolers. And she goes out and opens the door, and all the gremlins are in their scarves and their earmuffs. la 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 la, and there's one that's smiling, and it's the funniest thing. And I think that's like what you were saying with the scene in the bar. What is so great about the Gremlins is they each have their own little personalities.
Yes.
Like they didn't, when they made this movie, they didn't just make them, they didn't just, try to cut corners and be like, okay, they're all the same thing. They're just a bunch of these monsters. They're like, we're going to take the time and give each one of these puppets a specific, unique look.
Yeah.
One likes to dance. This one over here is dressing up as a lady. This one is playing poker. Like, and
this one's got a sense of humor.
Every time I watch it, I catch a different personality that I hadn't seen before because there's just so many of them, and I love it. I love it for it.
Yeah, they're great, and the use of practical puppetry throughout 99% of this movie, I love.
Yep.
Except for there's that one scene where they're charging to the movie theater and they're claymation or stop motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough. And even for stop motion at the time, I feel like they could have smoothed that out a little bit. Like the frame rate, it's like 15 frames a second, but the rest of the film is like 30 frames per second. And then the set looks like a miniature. Like it looks like a miniature. They didn't use like the correct lens or anything to bring that perspective in. Like I think they use like a tilt shift lens or something like that, and it gives it like the right perspective so it doesn't look like a miniature. And they didn't do any of that, and it just kind of. But it's like a 5-second clip. But like what they say, you're going to be. You are your weakest link, and I feel like that for me in this movie is the weakest link. Is that one little clip that's like 3 seconds long. And where I'm like, we could do that better. We could have done that better in 1984.
See, mine is at the end when the Chinese man is walking away with Gizmo.
Oh yeah, that
and it's
painting.
clearly a painting, and like it's not to scale. Like he is like as tall as these houses, and I'm like, it always takes me out of it. I'm like, come on. They could have ended this with a better shot.
You kind of expect them to like close a book as like the end of that. Like, yeah. I saw something and they were talking about that. This is going to be a tangent that goes absolutely nowhere, but I saw something and they were talking about that matte painting and how it was used in like so many different movies. Not just Gremlins. Really? Like that same street view and everything like that was used in a few different movies. So around that, I guess in the 80s and the 70s, maybe you'll have to look out for that painting to be used in other movies. Yeah. That one stands out too. But other than that, it's like I said, 99%. It's fine. It's great.
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed it thoroughly. And I can let.
And you're right. The practical effects are done other than that. See, oh my gosh. Yeah, like the Gremlins look believable. Great. Yeah. Like Gizmo looks believable.
Oh yeah.
Everything that he does. Like you're like that is a creature that is standing and talking to Billy.
Yep.
Like, it's just done so well.
They got all these like coffee table books that you can get now. And they'll be like concept art for different movies and like franchises and stuff like that. You can get the one for like Star Wars, and they'll have like all the concept art from the first Star Wars film. You can go through it. Yeah. And so I wonder if there's one for this. I'd love to see some of the concept art for like what Gizmo or the Gremlins looked like originally the first time they sketched him out, and then like how that progressed. Yeah. I think that'd be really cool to see. I'm gonna have to look up and see if they got one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty neat. So is this I didn't look it up. Is this Corey Feldman's? This has got to be one of his first. It's not. I don't think it is his first, but it's definitely like he's pretty young.
He looks like he's like maybe 12 in this, maybe 11 or 12. I don't know.
When was he born? 70, I think.
Okay.
70 or 71, something like that.
Probably would have shot it in maybe 82 or 83.
Yeah, probably 83.
Yeah.
Probably the 83 Christmas of 83.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Gremlin, definitely not his first one. I'm finally scrolled all the way through his library. He's got Friday the 13th, the final chapter before this.
Oh, okay.
Cheers, Leave It to Beaver. I didn't know they did a new Leave It to Beaver. They were doing spin-offs and sequels back whenever all the things that were getting spin-offs and sequels of now were being made.
Everything goes full circle.
It's all
because here we're doing it again.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to list them all. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 credits before Gremlins.
Wow.
One of those is Mork and Mindy. 2 episodes of Mork and Mindy.
Good job. Man.
Yeah. 27. Wow. That's crazy. All right. Well, there's our Corey Feldman fun fact for you. Not really fun, not much of a fact, but he was in the movie.
Yeah, he was in the movie. I mean, he's not in there for very long.
He just kind of disappears too.
He does. Like the last time you see him is he's shooting a slingshot at the gremlins that are like hanging from the lights in front of his window.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So I'm like, hopefully he survived, because some of these characters didn't, like their teacher. I'm like, this guy, like, one thing that I love, and they use this same concept in Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
So when there is something that people, I'm going to say kids, Billy's probably 19. I bet he's probably pretty fresh out of
20.
high school. Maybe 20. Okay. And when they come across something that they're not familiar with, they don't understand it, where do they go? The authority on everything in life is a science teacher.
Yes.
And Stranger Things, they do the same thing. And so they go see the science teacher and they're like, check this out, oh wow, what is this? And I just love that. And I'm like, and I know we live in a different time now, and I'm trying to remember back to when I was in school. Like, were these schools always just unlocked for anybody to come and go as they pleased? Like, I mean, I know our school doors were unlocked, but I mean, it seems like it's after hours when they're coming in and hanging out with this teacher and bringing this in or whatever. And
well, it's also December. So the sun's probably setting by 5. So let's say school let out at 3. He could be hanging out until 5 or so.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, because I know our school, back in the 90s, the doors stayed unlocked until probably an hour or so after school. But I mean, they slowly started locking off certain doors, but they left the doors by the athletics unlocked. But then they also had certain hallways they would roll down the cage for, or the gate, or rather.
Same with us.
So certain hallways would be blocked off, so you could only get into the main office and certain key areas like theater room and gym and things like that typically had after hours activities. But old schools like this, they didn't have that at all. But I know 9/11 changed so much, and for my sister's generation, coming up, my first sister, not our sister, the school was locked down, and they could only go in and out one door, and then and then now it's even more so where you can't get into any of the doors unless you have a badge or you ring through the front door to get let in, and then you're let in to a pass through that's still locked on all sides except going into the office, and there's levels to it now. But yeah, back then, doors were open, you could go in and out. I seem to remember, I vaguely recall being probably Pete's age, Corey Feldman's character's age, and being back in Chillicothe during the summer and being able to go into some of the schools at certain times, just being able to go up and try the door, and sometimes they'd be open, sometimes they wouldn't. It just depended on if they were doing something or whatever, and you could go in.
Yeah.
We never went in because we're like, we don't want to get caught in school.
Yeah.
Especially school I don't go to in a state that I don't live in.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, they'd be open and you could like kind of peek our head in and be like, ooh, this is exciting. And then run away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they, back then, certain, just doors weren't locked. Like people,
Yeah.
our dad lived his whole life never locking the front door. So
No, never did.
tell
Never did.
But,
Yeah. Yeah, but man, so this school, I can't remember his name, but their science teacher, I feel so bad for him because he's just.
Did he die though?
I don't know.
like-
So I had this discussion with Harper today
Okay.
when we were watching this, and she's like, I think that he just put him to sleep.
Yeah, because he was just going to use the sleeping medicine on the gremlin.
Yeah, was it a sleep medicine or was it like an actual?
Well, I don't think he
can't
was going to
remember.
kill the gremlin. I think he was just going to like, put it to sleep so he could
Yeah.
study it some
Yeah.
more. Like as
Yeah,
a scientist
that's
would. The scientist
Yeah,
isn't going to.
yeah.
They're not military. They're not shoot first, ask questions later.
Right, yeah, yeah.
They're studying
Yeah, so-
without disturbing. So that'd be my theory.
yeah.
Unless like the gremlin pulled him under the desk and just like ripped his head off or something.
Well, yeah, because you never do see his head, I guess, because he's
Yeah.
pulled underneath there. And Harper and I surmise that because he's trying to lure him out with the Snickers bar, and then he grabs his hand, and then he's screaming. So we're like, did he just like bite his hand off, or what?
There could have just
you
been
never
fear
see-
too. I mean, like, like have you ever reached underneath of a space that's so small that like nothing living could be underneath there that could really hurt you, but then like imagine then like you're reaching under your couch and something grabs your hand that is like
Yeah,
the size
that's
of your
true.
own hand, you would
Yeah,
kind of freak
yeah.
out.
That's true. That's true.
I think
yeah.
you'd be screaming. I'd be screaming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'd also
so
probably
may-
flip the couch over.
Maybe I don't feel so bad for him. I don't know.
I choose
There's-
to believe he lived.
Well, that's good then. That's good then. I'll choose to believe that too, because I'm fine with Mrs. Deagle dying.
She deserved it. She totally
and
deserved
she like Harper and I looked at each other, and Harper's like, yeah, she's dead after she went out that window. She was. I don't know how. That was another note I had written down. How did
she got away with
nobody in
that?
town liked this woman?
No.
How did they all put up with her?
No.
Because I'm sure somebody would have been like if that was me as Billy and she like pushed her way through the line, I'd be like, you're getting to the back of the line.
Yeah.
Like there's
Wait your turn. I don't care how much money
Or-
you have in this thing. Take it out. Where are you going to go?
Oh, yeah.
We're in a small town in the middle of Iowa, Illinois, whatever. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to go? You going to go to a different town? Yeah. Enjoy that drive every day, Mrs. Deagle.
It's fine.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Go right ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. She's not
She's-
going nowhere.
No.
And then like the snowman that she brought in that she was so upset about, was that ceramic?
I
Who
think
has
so.
a
Well,
big
shattered when it hit the
ceramic
ground. Yeah.
snowman? Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with holiday decorations of
Yeah.
the 70s or the 80s, but
Yeah.
I can't imagine they were made out of ceramic. That just seems silly. Like one hailstorm and that thing's gone.
Oh yeah. Yeah. She got what she deserved.
Absolutely.
And I think I said that to Harper, and she's like, "What's that mean?" Like, well, so I had to explain that to her. But then
Did you feel bad for her death? No. Then she
No,
deserved it.
no. The sheriffs and the sheriff and the deputy,
Yeah. They kind of
they
deserved it
see
too.
her. Oh yeah, they see her and they're like, "Oh, I think that's Mrs. Deagle." And then the other guy that's dressed as Santa Claus is like being torn to
He's
shreds.
got like 5 of them on him.
Oh my gosh, and they're just staring. And I get that they're scared, but that's part of being in law enforcement,
Yeah.
right? Like you're scared, but help the guy. Like the guy's at your window to your car and is like, needing help. Like these
Bravery
These
is not a
guys-
prerequisite for law enforcement.
no. Who voted this guy in as sheriff? Like
Maybe Mrs. Deagle with all her money.
Probably did. Yeah. One thing that I wish that we could have seen more of, and it was at the beginning of the movie, and it's that little shop in Chinatown. I would have loved to have seen all the other little knickknacks.
What else have they got in there? They got Mogwais. What else could they possibly have?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dragon egg somewhere or something.
Yeah.
You know they got some crazy stuff in that store.
Oh, they gotta have it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
think that's like a whole nother series right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the cartoon series they got on HBO Max for this? It's like the Gremlins, the first Mogwai or something. Or
is that out? I didn't know it was out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd heard that it was in development, but I didn't know it was actually
They
out,
released it like a year ago.
Oh, wow.
It finally came out. And I think they have a season 2 out now, or it's coming out. Like, it's about to come out.
Okay.
I watched the first few episodes with Bruce, and then he noped out of it, and I just haven't gotten back around. You know, watching a cartoon as an adult is kind of hard.
It is. Yeah.
It's hard to justify. It's hard to do. So I haven't gotten a chance to go back and watch them, but it kind of, like, I want to, because it really dives into the backstory of the Mogwai and everything. And actually, I think it is Gizmo is the central Mogwai in the cartoon series. And the little boy that he ends up befriending is the grandfather in this movie, like before he grows up. This is how the grandfather meets and gets Gizmo.
So they do live a long time.
Yeah, because this is back in like the 20s or something like that, I want to say. And at that point, Gizmo was quite old already. And they go into, there's like a magical island that all the Mogwai live on, and they're all good Mogwai and everything like that. But yeah, I want to watch more of it, because I want to get more. I've only watched the first few episodes, and they've got like, he got wet and spawned off some evil Mogwai, and they ate after midnight, and they became gremlins, and they're terrorizing the town, and that's kind of where I left off. And so I want to go back and I want to watch it, because I want to see whenever they get back to this magical island and kind of learn a little bit more of the backstory, if you will, as far as like where they come from and what they mean and so on and so forth. Yeah. But yeah, because I that's one thing that I feel like this movie didn't have to do at all. Doesn't owe us that, and it works perfectly fine without it. But we didn't get much of a backstory on the Gremlins, or on the Mogwai rather. And so, like, I have questions. Like, a Mogwai eats after midnight, becomes a gremlin. What happens if a gremlin eats after midnight? Do we get like a super gremlin? Does it revert back to a Mogwai? Does it become good? I mean, like, what happens if Gizmo eats after midnight? Is he a good gremlin, or is he a bad gremlin? Like, does he become evil? I don't know. And why is Gizmo the only good one, and all the rest of them are always evil?
Yeah, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
There was, so that brings up a couple things that I was wondering about. I'm like, so first of all, you're not supposed to get him wet.
Yeah.
Right. Now, this is a side note, something I just thought about, but at the end of the movie, before the old man comes in to pick Gizmo up, Billy's mom is like, "Oh, I'm going to make him a bowl of chicken soup." Well, that's like almost all water.
Yeah.
So are we going to start this again, Mom? Like, what are we going to do?
Like, how does he drink? Yeah, like,
yeah,
do they just eat rocks?
You can't
There's
have
water
any
and everything.
Oh yeah, there's water, like the chicken they're eating. There's water in the chicken. There's water vapor outside. They're in the snow, and that's
water in the air.
Yeah, like, so it's one of those things. I'm like, okay,
to what degree?
This is one of those movies that I just have to accept what they're giving me, and just go with it, because if I think too hard into it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because like the water thing on that. The scientist, the professor, or what do you call him? Teacher? Science teacher.
Yeah.
He puts a drop on Gizmo's back, and we get one gremlin off that one drop.
Yep.
Then Stripe jumps in a swimming pool. Thousands of gallons. There are thousands of drops in a gallon. That's multiple millions of gremlins that could possibly come out. How do we only get like not even 100 gremlins? Like, how are there not billions of gremlins now?
And then that gremlin that's the gremlins that's come off of him, they're in the water, so they're going to spawn.
They're going to spawn more gremlins. How is
that I could think of for that was that they just ran out of room because there was just so,
or like eventually, like the universe only allows so many of them to exist at one time, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that one was kind of like, well, okay.
What a great scene that is, though. I love that scene when he jumps into
nose.
the water. Yeah, and he jumps in, and then like it's just so eerie. Like the water starts bubbling and it's green underneath there. Yeah, that is a creepy sound that they do for that.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's a little ominous for sure.
And like Billy almost had it because Stripe was the only one left at that point because him and his mother had killed all the other ones.
What about the one that the science teacher had? Where did he go off to?
Oh, shoot.
Did he
I
get
forgot
him?
about him. So I guess maybe they didn't. No, I guess maybe they didn't.
I never saw where he... I guess he reconvened with all of them at the movie theater at some point?
Maybe, yeah. Because there was 6 of them originally, plus Gizmo.
Yeah. So maybe there's still a gremlin running around town.
Yeah, there would have been another one because she killed 3, Billy killed the one.
Stripe was all that was left on that side.
And then there was the other one, yeah.
So I guess, gremlin.
Yeah.
I think there's still a gremlin in that school. I think he's just living in them walls. He's biding his time.
Just hanging out.
Just messing with some students. Just every now and then he'll like poke his face out or just like steal rip up some homework or something. Put thumbtacks in teachers' chairs.
Yeah.
I believe there's a full on comedy movie waiting to be written about like some goofy, just like totally chill gremlin just hanging out in the school wreaking havoc for the fun of it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And you could have Pete be the hero.
That's right.
That has to end up taking care of this.
He comes back to town. He becomes the principal of the school.
Yeah.
Set it in the 90s, like the late 90s.
Hey, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Get some goth kids up in there.
Oh, yeah. Goth kids.
Little emo action.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Mr. Fetterman? So Billy's neighbor, played by Dick Miller. I love how his daily driver is that snow
tractor.
The tractor, yeah.
I thought it was so funny that he drove it to the bar. So did he just finish plowing the road and like just pulled right over into the bar?
Yeah.
Goes in and has some drinks, and then he's like, "I'm gonna drive this thing on home."
Yes,
how often does he drive it home drunk?
Got to be pretty often, I would think.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't seem like a well together guy. He seems like a guy that's at the bar pretty regularly for fighting his own demons.
Yes, yeah.
But
I wish we could have seen more of him and his wife together because that was such a they don't seem like they would fit together. But
that was like
do.
Archie Bunker and his wife. I mean, it was just kind of that.
Yes. Yeah. And clearly, I think that it pretty much says that they died. Like there's some freak accident, on their house or whatever.
They come back in the second one.
Are they back in the second one?
They're in the second one. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember
I guess they didn't die.
He comes to New York City to visit Billy for some reason.
That's right.
And they're touring, and the Bat one. He's like, I knew they were real.
Yeah.
He had completely suppressed it, and then he just has major flashbacks.
Yes. Yeah.
He's messed up after these movies.
Oh yeah.
He's in therapy for a while.
Yeah.
But Billy's bedroom, man, he's got the bedroom in the attic. I always wanted an attic bedroom.
Everybody wants that bedroom. It's so good, and his everything that's set, like the TV, being hooked up to the ceiling almost. Yeah.
Great setup.
He's got his art studio sitting up there, and even his bed looks super comfortable.
Yeah. Comic books everywhere. Who doesn't want the attic bedroom? I
know.
That's another classic 80s thing.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess you kind of had the attic bedroom. I mean, we didn't really have an attic, but where the attic would have been.
Yeah. The only problem is it didn't have a door.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
Yeah. When our sister took it over, she ended up putting a shower curtain over there or something for some privacy. But it didn't have a door.
Did not have a door. Dad's room had a door.
Yeah, it did. It did. Ours or mine did not. Yeah, you never lived in that room. You were always downstairs.
Yeah. Didn't have a door on mine either.
No.
Open to the stairs and open to the kitchen.
Yep. Oh.
No privacy as a child in the 80s.
Yeah. Did you see did you notice the Spielberg cameo watching this?
No, where was he at?
So when Rand is at the inventors convention, there's that guy that's driving around on like that scooter
incumbent
thing.
bike looking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's Spielberg on that.
Yeah, I had heard. You reminded me. Yes, I'd heard somewhere that he was in that scene, but I'd forgotten about it and didn't even bother looking for him. But now that you mention it, yes, I remember hearing that before. I'll have to remember to forget to go back and look for him the next time I watch.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always forget about that.
Yeah. How about Rand's inventions? That was another fun part for me. Was just looking at all these, like his inventions. They're like almost there. They are almost there.
Almost.
But, oh yeah, they're almost
They're
there.
Wild. They're wild.
Billy's mom she's like, Dad's inventions, they always work really well for the first couple weeks, and then they just
Excuse me a second. I'm gonna brush my teeth with this brick.
Yeah.
That was insane. Who's gonna use this thing to brush their teeth, shave their face, comb their hair?
The bathroom,
everything they would do in the bathroom is in this giant brick.
Why would they?
You can't take anything out of it though.
Why would they need a dental mirror in that? You're not going to be able to see
while you're brushing.
Yes.
How are you doing that? I don't get it. I know, this thing was insane. It was so huge, and you're not putting that in your pocket.
Oh no,
you're not carrying that around. The guy's like, I like how it was pitched to his son. Is like, imagine you're on your way to the big meeting, and you get there, and you realize, oh, I forgot to shave. So you got your bathroom buddy. Don't press that button. Don't press it.
And who's going to do that? You're outside of you're in the lobby waiting for this meeting, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna lather up, and shave right out here.
You gonna rinse your face or what? Just walk in with like little because razor blades back then were awful, so you always had a nick somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he had the hammer.
Buddy.
That it just had that one pivot point near the top. I'm like, what's the difference than just using your arm?
Yeah, because again, that thing was huge. It was like it was like 5 hammers bundled together that you held, and then his inventions were ridiculous. They were non-functional.
He had some that were almost like the coffee machine. Although I don't really know what the difference with that was than a regular
Mr.
coffee machine,
which was really popular at the time.
Yeah. The juucer, I could see that being something that would be, but
it took up like half the kitchen.
Yeah. The egg cracking machine. I'm like, where are the shells going to go?
Yes.
There's no place for the shell.
And just obliterates each egg it comes into contact with. That thing was ridiculous. Yeah, his inventions are, I don't know. I mean, he was supporting a family on I don't know what. What did he sell? What invention?
He wasn't supporting the family because the vice president of, I can't remember what his name was, but of the bank, when he and Billy go to the bar for the first time, and Kate's there serving them, and he's telling him, he's like, you're supporting your family with this job. He's like, you could do better, or whatever. So Billy's the one supporting the family. It's not Dad. But how does Dad have $200 just to give for this Mogwai?
He had to have invented something.
Yeah.
In the past. I think probably when Billy was a child, a little child, he invented something so big, so fantastic, and sold it that it paid for all their home and all their living expenses for decades. He's floated off of this thing for a while now, but he's been chasing that high, trying to invent something else, and just can't get it because whatever it was just so crazy, but it worked and it sold like really well that they could afford all this stuff. But yeah, so that's my theory, is that his dad invented something. And that got him the bug, and he just couldn't do it again. It
couldn't
never
stop. Yeah.
Never worked. And he sunk all this time and money and effort into it, and he's going around all these different conventions. And yeah, I think he's on like... Buddy. He's coming up to the end. I don't remember in the second one. We'll have to revisit in the second one if his dad is still doing inventions, or if he's like got himself a normal 9-to-5 job and he's just like, I got to support the family. You know, Billy's not here anymore. He's gone off. He's big shot in the city. I got to do it now.
That was one thing though that I did admire about this. Like, you could tell they were a family. Like, they love each other. They care about each other. Like, they're respectful to each other. Yeah. And I'm like, that's nice to see, you know. Mom, can you come up here for a minute, please? Sure. Yeah. You know, she comes upstairs or whatever and
brings him some chicken.
Yeah.
It's a very idyllic family for sure. Like, that is the, I don't know, I guess a product of the Leave It to Beaver generation. That whole, like, ideal family of the 80s or whatever. Nuclear family, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I had that too. Like, that the family is just like, you kind of want to be a part of them. You want to hang out with them. You want to, go have dinner at their house. Like, they seem like they'd be a good group of people to hang out with. Like, they'd have interesting conversation, and you'd have a laugh, and you wouldn't feel judged, and you'd feel right at home.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What about the standoff between Billy and Stripe at the end? So that whole scene when they're in the department store, it is great, and I love when Stripe comes at him with the chainsaw. Like, I don't care. Like, I feel like this is a family movie. Like, there's some kind of creepy parts in it, but that part is, to me, that'd be terrifying. Like, he's coming at you with this thing, and Billy's just got the baseball bat, like, trying everything he can do. Yeah,
I don't know what his answer was going to be in like 30 seconds when it finally went through the rest of that bat.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's coming for him. Like, he didn't have much room left on that bat whenever
he did not.
Gizmo came to his rescue.
Yeah.
But he was running out of room for sure. And but yeah, I love that whenever Gizmo, what did Gizmo do to get him? Like, he hit him with something? What
did he do?
I can't remember what he did.
I just watched it like 6 hours
just 2 days ago.
Yeah. I can't remember.
It was something like he knocked him back, or I think he hit lights or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways,
something like that.
The Spike goes falling back, and and he lands with that chainsaw above his head. Yeah. And it's still plugged in, and it just takes off on him, and he's hanging on to it, and he just rides around the department store until the plug reaches the end of the wall, and it comes out, and he's like, oh.
Well, he can't weigh very much, right? Like,
that's why he couldn't go through the bat, because he didn't have enough weight behind him to go through the bat. Otherwise, he would have been through the bat like that.
Oh man,
he would have been right through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that was pretty. And like, after probably the first or second time you watched it, did you want to take a circular saw blade and play ninja throwing stars with it like I did? That was, every time I see one, I think of that, and I'm like, I wonder if I could throw this through. Would it stick if I threw it?
Oh man, we were watching that, and Harper was like, she's like, "Whoa! Like, what was that?" I said, "Well, that's a circular saw blade. Why would they sell something like that?" I'm like, "Well, people legitimately use them to like cut wood.
They don't throw them.
No.
If they go flying off, that's a problem."
Yeah.
So, when was the first time you remember seeing this? You said you were watching it with your daughter, who's what?
Oh my gosh, she's 8. I probably would have had to have been. This came out 3 years before I was born. I was probably 4 or 5 when I watched it. I bet maybe. No, I bet I was young. I may have been. Well, surely I wouldn't have remembered it at 3. I was probably 4 or 5 when I watched it the first time, or that I remember watching it.
That's fair. Yeah. I think it was probably around the same time as the first time I watched it too. whenever you first watch it. We may watch it the first time together. I don't remember. I can't remember the first time I saw this one. This is one of those movies that I saw at such a young age that I can't remember it. I just can't remember the first time I saw it. I do remember watching this one like with friends at sleepovers and stuff like that from a very early age. Like, anytime we had a sleepover, we would watch like Gremlins or Ghostbusters or Beetlejuice or something like that. And I remember this one was a sleepover staple. I remember watching it a lot. Yeah, kind of around that age, like 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. But yeah, like I can't remember the very first time I watched it. Now that I think about it.
I don't. I remember watching it quite often though, because when our dad and my mom were still married, I remember they got me. I still have it actually. I've given it's in Harper's room. I have a stuffed gizmo. Yeah. That they got me, and
they re-released those recently too.
They did. So we got her the new stuffed gizmo, the re-release, and it's bigger than the one I've got. Than my one from 88 or whatever when they released them. But yeah, so sometimes she'll sleep with both of them. So she's got 2 gizmos when she's sleeping. It's super adorable. But I remember I do remember watching this often, and I loved it. Yeah. I've always loved it. It's just...
It's like, it's dangerous without being dangerous, Like, it's like riding the bike downhill. Like, it's dangerous, but your parents aren't stopping you. Yeah. They don't. They're like, it's fine. It's harmless. Yeah.
And
it gives them excitement.
That was something like Harper and I were talking about. And she's like, is this like a scary, like a horror? That's what she says. Is this a horror movie? I said, no. I said, it's a little bit scary, but this is really... I said, it's not really a kid's movie, but it's not like an adults-only movie. I said, it's really kind of a family movie, I feel like. I mean, as weird as that may sound,
it's a family Christmas horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, oops, sorry, I hit my mic. Everybody, I feel like anybody in the family can watch this movie. It's just for all ages, I feel like. There's not enough in there. There's a few cuss words, but there's not enough in there to be like, the kids shouldn't be watching this. And I don't really feel like there's anything gory in it that I would not want the kids to see. And I mean, she's 8. I watched it with her. I watched it with her when she was 7 last year, and it scared her. Oh, because what scared her, there was 2 parts. One, when Billy's mom is walking through the kitchen, and no, that's not it. It's when Billy is in the school. And that one that he's been chasing that did whatever to the teacher pops out of the cabinet. That scared her. And then the other part that like terrified her was at the end after the sunlight melts Stripe. Oh, yeah. And then he falls in the water and then he comes back one more time. That scared her. But now that she's seen it, like she desensitized to it. Yeah, she didn't have any issue with it. She's like, oh, I know that's coming. She's like, I don't want to look at it. Like she covered up her eyes for Stripe jumping back out. But it was fine.
Of all the movies I've let my kids see, and I let them see movies at probably inappropriately young ages. Like Bruce probably saw Gremlins when he was first like 4, and Ghostbusters when he was like 2 or 3. I mean, different parents. Anyways, so of all the movies I've let them see at probably the wrong times or a little too early, do you know what the one movie that scared them the most was? We went to the theaters and we saw Zootopia. And that movie scared them. We had to leave. No. And it wasn't like the whole movie. The whole movie was fine. They were doing great. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, have you ever seen Zootopia?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, we're going through the movie and everything's going fine. It's getting towards the end, and it gets to that part where Judy is confronting the rabbit is confronting the villain, mayor assistant or whatever, and she darts the fox, and the fox turns and gets like the big angry red eyes and like snarls his teeth and everything.
Yeah.
And at that point, both my kids screamed bloody murder in the middle of the theater and looked at us and said, "We gotta go." And like we're losing it, and we had to leave.
Wow.
That was it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, of all the things, and that they'd already seen Gremlins, they'd already seen Ghostbusters, they'd already seen all these like even scarier things, and that's the one that did it for them. And to this day, they talk about how terrifying that was and why it was so scary, and we have not gone back and watched the movie again. And I'm we got to go back and watch the movie.
I remember the movie that terrified me as a kid that wasn't scary was Problem Child 2. And
really?
It was the scene where he's like switching around the medical records on the beds, and they give his soon-to-be stepmother plastic surgery, and her nose gets really long. And when you see that scene of her nose really long, it terrified me so much. And I would watch that movie up till that point, and I would like go in the other room. Like I couldn't. I
can't watch it.
Yeah, and I haven't. You know, now that I think about it, I have not went back and actually finished that movie before. So.
Wow, that was pretty low on the list here, but
yeah. Sometime we'll be on like a John Ritter kick, and we'll just sometime way down the line.
After we gotta do some John Ritter movies.
Love John Ritter, but I don't know.
That one was a little much.
Yeah.
The first Problem Child was fine. I remember enjoying it, but the second one was another one of those. They just like, I feel like the 80s, the sequels, they always went like, they really leaned into a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that can make for a really good or a really bad sequel.
Yeah.
But anyway, so any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about with Gremlins?
No, like I said, it's I don't know. I always have a hard time making decisions on my favorite things. I never can. Harper will ask me, "What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that?" I'm like, this is not it, because it could be this. It could be this. So this movie is tied with A Muppet Christmas Carol as my favorite Christmas movie. But
all right.
Anyway, I love the Muppets,
I love it, but I don't know that this cracks my top 5 Christmas movies.
This movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muppet definitely doesn't crack my top 5.
Oh,
my top 10.
I didn't think so. I'm probably like an anomaly of anybody, but I just love the Christmas Carol story in general.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then you add Muppets in there. I don't know.
I don't like Muppets. Really, I mean, I don't hate them, but I'm also like, I'm not going out of a way for a Muppets movie. If that makes sense. I can take them or leave them. They're okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like, I guess it's like, I feel the same way about the Muppets as my daughter does about Star Wars. I like the characters. I can appreciate them, but I'm not going to watch one of the movies.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. I think I was a little too old, and Muppet Babies came around, and that might have ruined it for me.
See, I liked Muppet Babies, but I was a little bit,
you were a lot younger,
6 years younger than you.
So. I think that's it's like the Ewoks in the Star Wars movies. If you were young enough, you appreciate them, and if you're too old, then you don't like them.
Yep.
And I think I was a little too old, and it was fine at the time, but now I look back on it, and I'm like, that didn't sit right. But it's a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
So
Gremlins, it's great. I love it. I watch it every year around this time. I will continue doing that until I'm in the grave.
Yes.
I really do love this movie.
I do too.
It's great.
I think this might be one of my favorite, my second or third favorite Thanksgiving movie. Because
Thanksgiving movie.
Because this movie to me is a Christmas movie, but it's also a Halloween movie. And so I put it right at Thanksgiving.
So
It falls right in the middle. It's both for me. So I'm putting it as it's my Thanksgiving movie. Because there's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies. So this is probably my second or third favorite Thanksgiving movie.
So you have to make a Thanksgiving movie out of something that's not a Thanksgiving movie.
Right, yeah.
So you can
it's too Halloween hoary for me for a Christmas movie. I don't typically like a horror movie as a Christmas movie. They're fun, but they don't come into my top 5. I like more of a pure Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I like pure Christmas. But that's just me. And I love Christmas. But if you love This Podcast Takes Tokens, you can get yourself a free sticker, show your love for the podcast, be one of the first to get 50. Sorry, be one of the first 50 to snag an exclusive sticker. You could, if you want to get on it. Here's how. Listen to the podcast wherever you listen to it. Leave us a review on either Apple Podcasts or we were saying Spotify, but Spotify took that away from us. You can't get reviews on Spotify anymore. So, you know what? We're going to open it up to YouTube audience. If you want to leave us a comment on YouTube, we will accept that. Just make it a good comment, not just like an emoji. You know, give us more than a sentence. Give us something. Give us some meat. Something to lock into. Screen grab that, capture it, send it in to our email, thispodcasttakestokens@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we will send you one sticker absolutely free for each unique review, or if you leave a different comment on different episodes, for each episode that you leave a comment on. And so if you want more than one sticker, leave more than one review, leave more than one comment, and we'll get those out to you. This ends October 31st, 2024, so act fast. There are 5 unique designs. You can get up to 5 stickers. We did joke about getting 50. If you want, you can get 50 of them, but there's only 5, so there's kind of no point. We're going to limit it to 5. You can get 5. And, so get to collecting, send us an email, and we'd love to see your reviews, read your reviews. Speaking of reading your reviews, Ryan, do you want to vamp for 2 minutes while I pull up the YouTube reviews?
One of yeah, I don't know. Let us know what you're thinking about Gremlins. We love to hear, like Derek was saying, we love to hear your comments. I would love to see if you agree with me on Gremlins. I would love to see if you disagree with me on Gremlins. I think this movie is great, and like I said, it's one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's just fun all around, and I love reading your all's comments because it's just nice to hear other people's opinions on the things that we enjoy. And,
yes. And speaking of comments, we do have 2 comments that came in.
Yeah.
I think you may have answered one of them already, but we're going to go over both of them. So we have a comment from Sam Kelly, 7079. It was in regards to our, what was that episode? We did top five CDs to game to. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. Top 5 CDs to game to. Sam Kelly 7079 says, one of my favorite bands. To see them live in their prime would be amazing. I'm a specify. He's leaving a comment on a short clip that we cut out of that episode in regards to listening to Rage Against the Machine while playing GTA. I would absolutely agree. That was a great band. To have seen them in their prime would have been amazing, like any other band. But yeah, Rage Against the Machine for sure. They put on a pretty good show from what I understand. And I'm not a concert guy. I don't.
Yeah, there's
never been.
Some bands I feel like there's like I would like to see just for the experience of seeing them.
Yeah.
I went and listened to the Goo Goo Dolls over the summer. I've always enjoyed them. That was fun. The band that was opening for them, I can't remember what the name of them were. I could take them or leave them. I didn't care. But yeah, and I'm kind of like you. Like there are a couple bands that I wouldn't mind seeing.
Under the right circumstances.
Under the right. But I just don't. I don't like crowds very much, and I don't like. I just because I'm turning into a grumpy old man. That's what my wife says. I don't like loud loud
Overly
live music, overly loud live music. Like I'll put on Rage in my truck and I'll be driving down the road and it's loud and it's
Crank it
fine,
up.
but I don't want to be in a place where I need to put in earplugs so I can hear the next day.
It's beyond the point. It's so loud that it's deafening. That it's just, all you hear is just whoop, whoop, whoop noise, and you can't make out the music. You can't enjoy music like that. I don't believe so. I mean, I feel like at that point you're enjoying something altogether different. You're enjoying the experience of being in a large crowd and getting that oversaturation of sound and energy and just
Some
all of
people
that.
like that.
And that's fine. If
that's
you enjoy
great.
that,
That's
go
fine.
for it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I would prefer I like a venue style. I like going somewhere where you can kind of sit down, have a drink, relax, the band plays, and you enjoy the music for what it is. Enjoying the music, not this high octane energy fest.
Yeah.
I mean, even whenever I was like, a teenager in my 20s, I didn't enjoy big, loud, crazy concerts. I just kind of wanted to. I liked the idea of them. I liked, but I think I was more interested in community than the actual experience of going to a big, loud, obnoxious concert.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So our next comment is Ronald Doherty Ronald Doherty ZJ5 UK. Again, on the same episode, again commented on one of our short clips. This time we were talking about Zelda and Radiohead. Listening to Radiohead while playing Zelda. And he comments, Radiohead is music beyond music. It's perfectly amazing and describes the human condition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, I'm not a huge Radiohead fan, but I like me some. Whenever Radiohead's on, I enjoy it. I enjoy what I hear, I should say, for sure.
And I think I mentioned this in that episode. Like, it's every album they have is a different sound, and it's just it really paints a picture. It sounds so ridiculous, but it does. You're listening to one of their albums, and you can just visualize what they're trying to convey with the music, and it's, I don't know. Yeah, you were talking about people that are into Radiohead, they really let you know that they're into Radiohead. That's me. I like Radiohead a lot. But
there's definitely some albums where you can listen to them and close your eyes, and while listening to the music, you are also simultaneously experiencing a story. It builds visuals in your head, and I can appreciate that for sure. Yeah, that's the storytelling music is all day long. I'll enjoy that for sure. But so those are our comments from this week. We are looking forward to any more that you want to bring us. Feel free to leave them below. And with that, I think we got just one more thing, and that is our icebreaker for next week. We're not going to tell you what next week's episode is, but I'm going to give you an icebreaker. I'm going to give you an icebreaker, and I'm going to give you an icebreaker at home. And something to think about, and we're going to come back in the next episode and start the episode out talking about it. So here we go. Icebreaker for beginning of next episode. What was the first game you remember getting for Christmas or your birthday, if it was on your birthday? But what was the first game you remember getting for Christmas? And then we'll come back and discuss that next week with y'all. So don't forget those tokens. Remember, be kind and rewind. And we'll see y'all next week.
We will see you then. Thanks.
Later.
This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production.